Hello, beer tubers, and welcome to yet another Throwback Thursday with me, Peter, the master of Hoppets. Today, throwing back with a beer I'm really excited about revisiting. If you've been following me for the last few years, which is a long time, it's not just a few years, it's almost 15 years now. It's crazy. You would have seen me go from a young adult, a teen almost, to me in my 30s now, mid-30s, with a house and kids and everything. It's crazy. But you've seen my entire beer journey on camera. You've seen the evolution of what I like and everything and whatever, and you've seen a lot of what's been going on in the beer scene. You've seen that these kind of stouts, like I have in my glass, have evolved to be much more rich than this is. But this is a Throwback Thursday where we're revisiting Founders KBS. I really wanted to do this because just to compare to modern stouts today and see how much I like it, and also because this was a beer I had in such a high regard back in the day. I rewatched my first review of this back in 2012, which is 12 years ago now, ish. And I went nuts over this. I was like, this is amazing, but if we're talking barrel-aged beer, I prefer Parabola. Before that, I watched my first review, was that the first Founders review? Maybe it was. Double Trouble, I think the name was, which is an Imperial IPA they used to do, where I was like, this is really good, but I was so bad at describing flavor compared to in 2012. I was just like, tick, 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 and I think I'm even better now, but it was so fun to see, like, I could only talk about that beer. IPA was like piney and grapefruity and malty. I couldn't really dissect that much. But this was such an iconic beer around the 2012s. This was a beer you traded for. And I just want to say this. You traded for this to win us. I think even a subscriber sent this to me back then. You can buy this in supermarkets in Denmark now. What? It's freaking nuts. I haven't seen KBS in Founders beers in a long time. And then all of a sudden they started coming back. I think the only things we really saw was All Day IPA and whatnot for a while. And the last time I had a Founders beer was about 2 years ago. It was at least a KBS, was an espresso KBS. That was 2 years old. This is fresh. This is from 23, fresh-ish. I think it's actually a year old. But this was in the supermarket. I was like, shit, I need to revisit KBS and see how it is. Just like a Danish supermarket having KBS. This used to be such a legendary freaking beer. Now it's a fucking supermarket shelfie in a different country. Like, wow. It's just nuts. It's nuts. So yeah, KBS, very famous. It's their imperialized version, Founders version of their imperialized version of their breakfast stout. 12% ABV, aged in bourbon barrels, conditioned on coffee and chocolate. I'm guessing cocoa nibs. It just says chocolate on the label. And it doesn't say anything about aging times or anything, but it says something like it's brewed with those ingredients and then aged in bourbon barrels. But I think most modern big stouts would like pastry. This is like a breakfast stout. It's one of the progenitors for modern pastry beers. Like, this is where a lot of the things comes from that we drink these days with over-the-top shit and stuff. But interesting that they put all the adjuncts in first and age it in barrels. And I've actually got a couple variations on this to try as well. I think it was hazelnut and blueberry, which we'll see how they are because I think they're made with extracts. But one I'm really excited about is a fresh bottle of CBS. And I have a vintage bottle to compare with as well. The last one they released before it went on a hiatus, and then they brought it back last year, I think. This looks exactly what I remember. Pitch black Imperial Stout. It's got a tannish looking head, roasty looking. Let's check out the aroma. Yeah, a lot of stuff's happened in the realm of stouts. A lot of stuff has happened. It smells nice. But like, wow. It's not rich on the barrel. It's like not decadent. It's like, this smells like session barrel-aged beer. I'm getting mostly coffee and roasted malt. Like, if you even compare to a beer like Goose Island, Bourbon County, that's been around longer than KBS. That beer still is frickin' fire and phenomenal. The aromatics on this one, I'm thinking a little bit, I mean, it's nice, but it's not that same, like, whop in the face. But, you know, when you were drinking beer in 2012, 9 months, 6 months, whatever, a year in bourbon barrels was enough. You didn't need more because you never tried more. Now we've gotten to a place where more is more. Is more is more is more. So like people want over the top. So like anything below over the top is not good enough. And like I know, like I can already smell right now. I think it should have more rich bourbon character. Like the bourbon, like I'm almost getting more oak than bourbon, and I think that's just because of the evolution of the style. Like it's some bourbon barrel aged beers are becoming so rich in the barrel character. Still with the stout that's very decadent, but like the way these beers are brewed, like this can be probably brewed in one day. Most modern big beers are brewed over the course of 2 to 3 days. Like it's not efficient brewing, and it's insane. But this is a beer that smells like one you can drink for yourself, an entire freaking bottle. Whereas most of modern big beers, they're better for sharing. But yeah, mainly I'm getting chocolate. I'm definitely getting like oaty notes as well, like an oatmeal type thing, sweetness. Maybe a touch of vanilla, but coffee is the big player. There's also a touch of chocolate, roasted maltiness, char, slightly ashy note. But it smells, you know, it doesn't smell like that strong of a beer, really. I mean, how strong is it? 12%? It smells more like a 7-8% beer if you think of barrel-aged beer these days. But yeah, let's try it. Cheers. Man. What the hell? So this is a little bit what I feared. I think this is a case of beer being where it's at. Maybe also changing recipe. I bet this is not a recipe they would touch. You know, would they change KBS? I almost regret getting more bottles and variants of this beer instantly from drinking this. Wow. I can't remember the last time I've been this disappointed in a beer. Especially just because I rewatched my original review of this. It just drinks like a 7% stout or something like that. Like if you think of Bourbon County, it's still holding up so well. Fresh bottles of Bourbon County are c'est magnifique. That's the oldest of money in terms of barrel aged stout. But this, I think they're owned by San Miguel now. I get mainly coffee and burnt notes. There's a hint of chocolate. It's very fizzy. It's very dry, with a slight slick, silky feeling. There's a bit of the oats. The bourbon's not that present. It's mostly like oakiness. This is a beer of a different era, and I think that's definitely part of it. This beer has not followed the evolution with big stouts. This has just kept where it's at. It's by no means a bad beer. There's no flaws, there's nothing, it's not a bad beer. But this is not anywhere like near the best of the best barrel-aged beer these days. I think I don't know if even this is a good gateway anymore into barrel-aged beer. Man, but I just remember it being richer and sweeter and more decadent. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just what beer has become. I'm not sure. I'd love to get some feedback on this if you guys want to chime in. Like, has KBS changed? I don't know. To me, it seems like it a little bit. I mean, it's not a bad beer. It's not. But just like, I just can't, how hard the mighty have fallen. Like, what? There must be something changed about this. Like, the barrel is barely there. Like, there is more dryness of wood than anything. Like, there's not a lot of bourbon. I'm so freaking disappointed. Like, this is like being a kid opening a Christmas present. And this is a square box, and you're like, oh shit, it's gonna be a Nintendo 64. And then you open it. Well, these days a PS5. And then you open it and you're like, oh, it's a box with a nice winter jacket. Like, that's the feeling I have right now. It's like, I had the ideal there, and like, oh shit, this is gonna be like Christmas morning, and sweet nostalgia, and then you drink, it's like, like, I can't remember the last time I've been this disappointed in a beer. I'm really trying to look for like plus points. Biggest plus, there's definitely still coffee. Biggest points is that. I think that's about it. Chocolate over there. CBS was also richer than this, wasn't it? Like more decadent, more barrel? I think so. I think blind, I would think this was just a coffee stout. I wouldn't think it was barrel aged. Like, it's a dry 12% coffee stout with oaky characters, really. There's a bit of charry wood. There's not like vanilla. The coffee is really powerful. Bitterness going down. Quite dry. Slightly slick, but more dry than anything. Like, if you gave this to a person who only drank modern stout, they'd be like, nah. I'm sure of it. Usually these Throwback Thursdays are good. Usually the member berries are nice. But not this time. This time is not good member berries. Why did I buy fucking more of this stuff? Okay, so I'm going to pop those two in one video very soon, just so I can get them out of the cellar, because this does not drink like a beer you should age at all, because it's just like, it's not got the body and richness and barrel to sit in the cellar at all. This is like drink fresh. Good thing, no alcohol flavor, which is nice. It's not a bad beer, but this used to be 100 for me. This is not breaking 90. Like, fuck this. So disappointing. 85? It's just like super fizzy, coffee heavy, next to no barrel character, roasty kind of stout. Not bad at all. But like I don't even see the point of a barrel here. Like, you're almost not tasting it. I don't think I would taste it if it was blind. What did you do, San Miguel? No. Okay, let's quit. This is a way too long video already. If you guys had a KBS in recent years, let me know what you thought of it. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I want to say cheers in one of the most disappointing glasses of barrel-aged stout I've had in years. And see you guys in another beer review.